Hi, I'm Dan Huff, and personally, I'm quite glad you bought this video. Hopefully, you bought the video. For the next hour, we're going to be inside a recording studio here, basically going over just kind of my philosophy of recording guitars, sounds, effects, equipment, everything, groove, charts, kind of the whole ball of wax. So what I've done is I've asked the guys from the band that I'm in, Giant, to come down, set up. They were kind enough to come down and just play you some examples of some music. We're going to do a couple songs from our records, Giant, and some other things too. We just I wanted to keep it loose enough to where you would get the feel of a recording session, what it's like in the studios. I brought a chart in. I actually wrote it as soon as I got here today, much like would be done in a recording session, and gave the guys some charts, which you'll be hearing later. And I said, let's play it in this style, and then let's play it in another style. And then I'm going to do some overdub situations here in the control room. Just basically go on and on until they turn off the tape and tell me I can't talk anymore. So anyway, sit back, relax, grab a guitar, and enjoy yourself. And you know, I hope I say something that can help you out if you're interested in recording, and if you're not, maybe you'll get interested. Thanks. The first song that we're going to play for you today is a song off our latest record called Time to Burn. We're going to go out in the studio, record a rhythm track, basic rhythm track. I'll play a solo with the track, and then we'll come back here in the control room. I'll do a few overdub passes and show you just kind of the way I would approach the song, or actually did approach the song on our record. Time to Burn. Getting on to overdub mode in this song. If you heard the album, you know there were some other parts that weren't on basic rhythm track. I could only play one thing at a time. So, especially on the intro, there's a little melody thing that I did. So what I'll do right now, in the recording studio, you have as many tracks as you want to do these things. I'll play the little intro part. We'll stop, talk about that, and then move on to some other overdub sounds and ideas. The sound on the track is pretty straight ahead. It has a little delay, a little reverb on it. So for the intro, the lick is... and then it goes up the octave. Basically, that's it. If it was just a straight guitar sound, it would be, you know, kind of so-so. Anyway, to go along with what's on the track, I decided to put a little schmo on it, or chorus, whatever you want to call it. I'll talk about the rack in a little bit, but I'll give you a little example of what it'd be like overdubbing here. Play. Attitude is where it's at. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to even do it a little bit wilder. Sometimes you get in the studio and a producer's going to say, play it very even. You know, we want this to sound like it's not too crazy. Or you may get on a situation where you're in a rock and roll session where they say, come on, make this sound crazier. So turn up the guitar a little bit, and we'll do it again with a little more attitude. The same part, mind you. So anyway, that's kind of an example of that. The first lick in the song, I get asked probably more than any lick on anything that I've ever done, how is that lick done? I'll show it to you real quick. It's the simplest lick, at least the way I think it is. It's simple. I'll do a slow motion version of it. It's just a pattern that I play 3 times in a row. It's same again. Same thing, a string down. One more string down. But fast. It's all in the attitude. It's all on the wrist, you know. It's like tennis. So anyway, little sideline note. You probably noticed the sound, there's a lot of distortion on the sound right now. When we actually recorded the record, we started the opposite way. We started with drier amps, with Les Pauls, and then built onto it with the rack sound, you know, all the cajones. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hook up a Les Paul to an amp that's not quite as distorted, and show you what the sound is like when I double things. It gives it more of a, like a Zeppelin type sound, especially on the chorus. If you could roll up to the chorus, usually you wind up bringing all these guitars to every session because you never know what type of situation you're going to be in, what type of sound is going to be necessary. Do you have to have all these guitars to get into sessions? No. Primarily people are going to want a person who can play, a person who gives the right attitude to a song. If you can't afford, you know, but 1 guitar, 2 guitars, that's fine. Don't worry about it at the beginning. If you can't have all these effects, don't worry about it. Worry about the playing, the attitude, the sound, the vibe that you get from the guitar. The rest of these things will come. When I started, I didn't have all this stuff either. What I'm doing now is I'm going, I don't know if you can see these pedals in the back here. These are my junkers, I call them. My little Boss pedals, cheap, you know, anybody can get these things. They have a great sound all their own. Well, actually, all I'm using is a little of the delay right now. But you can notice the guitar sound now, more Marshall-esque. I'm not using my Marshall, but I'm using my PV 50 watt. Just a good sounding amp. Just basic. It's not as woofy and as big and as mighty as the other sound. But listen to when I add this sound on the chorus lick, though. what you noticed is the sound got what I call more Zeppelin-esque. It's the combination of guitars that are not as distorted, like this one. If you play it lightly, it's fairly clean. You have to hit it a little bit harder. Combining those sounds with sounds that are more distorted, it gives you a depth in guitar sounds that you can't get with just like an overdriven amp, you know, with all the knobs turned up. You have to get that clarity. What we try to get, like on our Giant records, is that clarity of sound, and it starts with guitar sounds like this. Anyway, that's for this song. That was my basic approach. I think I did maybe 2 or 3 clean tracks. I think I did even some cleaner than that. Pushed them in the back a little bit so that you really hear the notes. And then I put on the Gonzo guitar with all the bells and whistles, and got time to burn. Well, normally I hate introductions because I'd rather talk about myself most of the time, but since these guys were kind enough to come down, help me out on this project, I thought I might as well let you in on their names. The big tall dude on the drums is my brother David Huff.
You remember me.
The long-haired dude on bass is Mike Brignardello.
Hello.
And the guy with that silly-looking grin on his face is Larry Hall. And we are Giant!
Said some things I know I shouldn't have. They're just the careless words of a jealous man. Hey, little girl, can't you see through the tears in your eyes what you're doing to me? I won't share your love. Don't you understand? 'Cause it's still got time. Change your mind. To stay to the end. Don't walk away tonight. I won't give you up. I'm gonna stand here by you. Want to stay to the end. Forget about the past. I'll never let you down. Always be around. Never leave you lonely, crying for love.
Let's talk about the soloing in a minute. Let's take the ethereal effects and what I call jangle parts. If you remember, the chorus basically sounded like this. Okay, that's great if you want a heavy rock and roll song, Van Halen-esque or whatever. Suppose you get in a session and a producer comes and says to you, look, we need a kind of a part that threads that all together. We don't want to use a lot of synthesizers, but we need something to just tie it together, make it sound maybe a little more pop. At that point, usually I'll kind of go to what I call jangle parts. Jangle parts being like clean sounds that I process quite heavily. Put a lot of chorus on them, a lot of delay, and basically just sweetens the song up. If you mix it right, it kind of gives it like a Byrds quality. I don't know if you know the band the Byrds, but the part I'm going to play on this song is basically like this. I've got it zeroed up to the chorus. I'll play that and we'll talk about it for a second. You see the effect that it gave the song. Now, when we would finish this, it wouldn't be mixed that loud in the mix because it tends to override everything else. But it gives a connectedness to the chorus of this song. I do a lot of things, ethereal effects with delays and similar type sounds. Kind of process, put a little bit of reverb on it. Just volume type things like now that, in context with what I have on tape, will sound like this. Basically how I got that effect. Let's start with the straight guitar sound. Strat, back pickup. I have it on single coil, so it's not too thick. Put a little delay on it. I might even turn it up a little bit more. It's not necessary in a part like this that the delay be perfectly in time with the song. I also added a little bit of reverb on it. Just give it a little more depth. Then I also put a chorus on it. And actually, sometimes it works to put a little bit of harmonizer in it. Just throw the whole thing in. Another way to get jobs in the studio. All right, let's go into the solo in this song. This solo to me is like it's not copying Jeff Beck, but it's to me what he is about. It's what I aspire to be, basically. The first lick is I'm using the whine bar quite a bit in this. Give that to you one more time. Then after that, just the use of the tapping to do that. I'll do it one more time slowly. Just make sure that you get that. The second half of the solo gets a little bit crazier. I'm going to play that much again. Okay, basically, I kind of played what was on the record there. I deviated it from a little bit, so I may not give you the exact licks that was on this, but it'll be something very close. The second half. Slowly. Even a little more slowly. When you play it fast, creates kind of a flurry. I won't go on to the end because I think that's going to give you enough to work on. More than copying my licks, I think what's important is developing a sense for what you want to say in your solos. I like solos to just glide all over each other. And I like the fast licks to come out of nowhere and just kind of hit you on the head and then take you back into something that's very melodic. Depending on whatever you do, I think the most important word is attitude. You got to go for it. When you're playing solos, you can't play it safe. Even when you're playing something that's very like conservative. Let's say you want to play it. Well, that's one way of playing it. But if you put a little soul into it, see the difference? It's attitude. It's 100% attitude. Making mistakes is not going to get you fired off a gig. In the studio, very easy. You just push a button, you can replace a note. But the attitude is the one thing that most people don't get in the studio because they become frightened by all the knobs, all the, you know, it's kind of sterile in a studio. So if there's anything I'd like to encourage you on, when you play, go for it. In the studio especially, because you don't have crowds there trying to help you out with it.
They asked me to say a couple of words about what I thought about Dan Huff, and since this is his video, I don't guess I can tell you what I really think about him. Just kidding, Dan. You'll never see this anyway, I'm sure. No, but he's probably the most talented musician I've ever worked with. He does it all. He plays guitar, which everybody knows, but he's also a great singer. He's a great songwriter. And more importantly to me, he's one of my best friends. So this bud's for you, Dan.
Dan Huff has been my mentor on a guitar for at least 3 weeks now. And I can't say enough about what he's done for my playing. And actually, I'm a keyboard player, so you don't want to hear me play guitar. But he's been a great friend and a great person to play with. I've worked with him for about almost a year now. And it's been a great time. I can't say enough about him.
What can I say about my brother? I'll say only good things. I've known him for a long time, and he's been inspiration to me musically, the way he thinks through things, and he's a total musician, the way he approaches the guitar. He's probably the best compliment I can give him is he can shift gears with any situation and come up, you know, landing on his feet. How's that, Dan?
My basic rhythm part over an E minor chord was like a sus4 type position. Played kind of like this, 3, 4. And I think I did some little variations. Again, it's not just the notes, not any particular note that matters, it's the feeling that you get. In the B section, I came up with another little melody. It's over a D chord, and what I did is just started singing. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 you know, or something like that, and just start playing it. Again, it's the idea of making little hooks, little pieces of music that someone can hear and recognize it immediately. Okay, so we got the rhythm track. Nothing as you watched us play, there's nothing that I did that was particularly hard. Laying it in the pocket's another thing. I mean, you got to lay it right with the drummer. Otherwise, a producer's going to say the groove is not right, you know. That's another whole hour just talking about groove. Today is just an overview about all this. So let's say we get into the control room and the producer says, okay, let's put another part on this thing. Well, there's already keyboards, bass, drums, and guitar. It's like, where can you fit things? I'm going to run a little of this, and I'm just going to play like what I would add for a second guitar part. Again, I really haven't, you know, this is not like this is not a song that's been recorded or been worked out in any great manner. So I'm just going to play some little ideas. I'll play some little intro ideas and just kind of jam for you, and then we'll talk about a few of those things. I'll start back with the intro. A lot of times you get on a session and some producers are going to let you just let the groove happen. Remember our little lick. Sometimes the producer's going to want you to play something that augments that. That's why I chose that little lick. Simple little thing, but it let the other part come through. When I got to the verse, as you recall, the part was. They don't want to get in the way of that part, so I just played little in the holes. We call them the holes. You know, it's like when that other part isn't playing, not to get it too busy. Just adds a little flavor. In the B section, what I started hinting to at the end, I'm going to do it for you one more time, and I'm going to play another idea that I had. You'll just get, it'd probably be better if I just played some of these things for you as opposed to talking about them. And you can get just an idea of, like, you know, producers are either going to say, I love that part, I hate that part. But the idea is to keep on creating. As a matter of fact, I'll play kind of a different intro idea. I'll just think of something right now, and I'll you know, if a producer came up to me and said, no, do something different. I heard that idea, let's try something, and I'll compare ideas. So this is just some new ideas. The new idea for the B section. Anyway, another approach, kind of a rock and roll approach. Producer may ask you to do that 5, 6, 7 different times. Pretty much got to keep coming up with new ideas. Hopefully they'll choose something they like. The way I hear the song was more the way I played it the first time. Again, it's textures, straighter tones. That went well with the chorused thin guitar sounds I had on the other part. I choose this other part in the B section. Just because it enforces that theme that I was playing on the rhythm part. Those are just a few ideas. Anyway, so this is the R&B version of this. Ever since I was like 13 years old and I saw my first recording session, it was here in Nashville. It wasn't this studio, but it was right down the street. I thought that was the coolest thing. I thought, boy, being a session player, being in different musical situations every day with the type of pressure of putting it on the line at, you know, at every moment, that was for me. And so I went into session playing when I was pretty young. I was about 16, 17 years old when I had my first paying sessions. And anyway, it's like anything. If you do any one thing too much, you get bored, a little stagnant with it, kind of looking for some other things. And I came to that same point just because I was playing other people's music. And that's why I started the band Giant with the other guys that you've seen here today, that you will be seeing here today. We started the band because we needed some expression. We're musicians first. I'm not a session musician first. I'm just a musician. I like playing the guitar. I like the sound of it. I like music. I like hearing stuff on the radio. And if you sit in these rooms, twisting these knobs and doing all this stuff too much, you'll go nuts. You got to play something from here that's only for you, whether anybody else likes it or not. And that's why we started the band. Of course, we hope people would like it. You know, you put that much time and effort into something. You want people to like it, so you continue to do it. So right now, I'm kind of at that balancing point. I do sessions for a month at a time, then I work on Giant for a month. You know, I go tour with Giant, come back and play sessions. I think it's the best of both worlds. I really enjoy it. I get input from other artists, and then I get to go and throw everything out and just be with the guys in the band, drink a few beers, and play some loud rock and roll. Okay, so you heard the country, the Nashville version, whatever you want to call it, of the same chart. As you noticed, there were certain things that I kept constant. You know, some of the melodies, the B section. The difference in this last take was the inflection. You know, the sound, the attitude, the intro. Definitely more of a Western thing than the R&B thing we did on the last version. I chose for that take on the rhythm track this like 59 Strat. Actually, it's a remake. A guy named Jim Tyler builds these, and down to the lacquer, they're the exact same thing as they made in the 59, except he's put a few extras on them, like the new tremolo. Anyway, it gets that biting kind of sound, which is really good for that. In the studio, I've played on a lot of the songs like this lately since I've moved to Nashville, and been using a Telecaster on quite a few of these things. They're a bit noisy. You have to kind of find the spot in the room, but they sound really good. And so if I was asked now to put an overdub part on this, like let's say strengthen up the chorus, give a little hook for the intro, and just give maybe some textures for the B section, you know, something like that. Lay kind of cool out of the verse, except maybe for a lick or two. Here's what I would do. With the Telecaster, it's going through a straight amplifier, no rack, just a little bit of slap. Inflection, again, you could take this lick 100 different ways. You probably played it. You know. But in the attitude, the way I played it, is a little more sassy. I put it on the back pickup here. Again, it's not hard, nothing anybody can't do, but it's laying it into the track, giving the right attitude with the other parts that make that happen. In the B section, you notice I kind of pushed a button over here, my trusty tremolo. It sounds great on songs like these. That little effect gives it that old-time feel, and I was just... The line went down, 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 down. Down, down, down. You know, I played lines in between the other part. In the chorus, I just went straight out strumming. Again, lines that went between the other part. There's no way to really, I think, teach lines like this. I think maybe the best advice that I could give is when you hear music, hum something that comes to mind. Don't try to sit down and just play it on the guitar. Hear something, hum something in your head that complements it. Usually when you don't have a guitar in your hands, you won't think in terms of patterns that you play on the guitar. And melodies will become more usable if you just think them first. That's the way I do things in the studio. If I can hear it in my head, I usually know it'll probably sound pretty good on guitar. There's so many ways of doing this stuff. Session playing, like I said, is reaction to things that go on. It's not something that you can just say, okay, I've learned this lick, I have this sound, therefore I'm a session player. It's not that easy. I hope I've also shown that it's not that hard. I mean, it's not like I'm playing anything right now that anybody can't learn, but it's the attitude, it's the way you perceive it, it's the way you go towards the music. So remember that, you know, in your endeavors to become a session musician. All right, so we're at the end. I don't know about you, I'm totally confused. The deeper I've gotten into this thing, the more I realize it can't be described in one tape, a day, or even a week. I wish I could invite you to different sessions with me, because it's something that you just have to see. You have to see it in different circumstances. That's the way I learned. When I was a kid, I went and watched session players play. I just watched them. There was not even much they would say that would change it, the way I thought about it. It was just what they played and how they played it and when they played it. So anyway, you know, till next time, I'm glad you got to spend this time with me and myself with you, and I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
station.